When a man is sexually attracted to you and can't stop thinking about you, his actions start speaking a language that words can't touch. There is something powerful in the silence of a stare, something magnetic in the hesitation of his breath around you. You see, attraction, true, deep, almost obsessive attraction, isn't about lust alone. It's about what you stir inside him without trying. It's about how you walk into a room and everything inside him stops, not because you tried to be noticed, but because you were impossible not to notice. When a man is drawn to you on this level, it's not just your body he craves, it's your presence. It's the way your energy disrupts his logic, confuses his routine, and hijacks his peace of mind. You must understand, when you become the woman he thinks about in the middle of his day, late at night, or in the quiet moments when no one else is around, it's not random, it's not a coincidence. You've awakened something inside him that makes him wrestle with thoughts he never planned to entertain. His attraction becomes involuntary. You didn't ask for it. You didn't demand his attention. But now, you live in his mind rent-free because what you offer isn't ordinary. It's not surface level. It's felt deep in the marrow of his bones. This kind of attraction has a rhythm, a pattern, a series of signs that he can't help but show even when he tries to act indifferent, and you must learn how to read it, because when a man is truly captivated, he starts slipping, dropping signs like breadcrumbs, hoping you'll notice, and even when he doesn't say a word, his energy confesses, his eyes, his body language, his behavior. It all starts forming a map. You just need to follow it. When a man is deeply attracted to you, his eyes will speak the truth. His words often cannot. They become windows into his emotions, mirrors reflecting the desire, curiosity, and longing he tries so hard to keep hidden. A man can say he's not interested. He can try to act unfazed, cool, and indifferent. But when you lock eyes with him, the truth leaks through. Because desire has a way of creeping into the gaze, slowly, subtly, but undeniably. It's in the pause. It's in the way his pupils widen. It's in the milliseconds his eyes refuse to break away from yours. There's a look a man gives a woman when she's not just physically attractive to him, but emotionally and sexually consuming. That look doesn't come from simple appreciation. It comes from need. It's not just admiration of how you look. It's fascination with how you carry yourself, how you move, how you smile, how you make everything around you feel a little more alive. When a man is drawn to you at this level, he studies you without realizing it. He's not staring inappropriately, he's absorbing. He's drawn to your aura. It's like you become a visual addiction. The way you gesture when you talk, the sparkle in your eyes when you laugh, the natural curve of your lips when you're lost in thought. It's all mesmerizing to him. And it's not just about how often he looks at you. It's about how he looks. If he maintains eye contact with depth and softness, if his gaze lingers just a little too long, especially when you're not talking, you're not imagining it, you've gotten under his skin. His stare starts to betray the thoughts running wild in his mind. He might catch himself watching you and then quickly look away, as if trying to hide something. That's not shyness. That's the weight of his desire colliding with his fear of being exposed. He may try to suppress it, he may try to keep conversations casual, his tone neutral, but his eyes will always tell on him. You see, the eyes aren't trained to lie. They move with emotion, they dance with excitement, and they dim with longing. When he looks at you and his pupils dilate, or his expression softens without warning, something real is happening. That's his chemistry, responding to your energy. That's his mind sending signals his mouth hasn't yet formed into words. And the more he tries to fight it, the more intense his eyes become. They'll flicker with unspoken tension. They'll hold on to you, like he's afraid he'll miss something if he looks away. This gaze isn't about control or conquest. It's about being consumed. He doesn't even know how to explain it to himself. Why does he keep thinking about the way you looked that one night, or how your eyes locked with his during that one laugh? Why can't he stop replaying that moment when you glanced at him across the room and everything else faded? His brain has tried to rationalize it, but it can't, because attraction this strong doesn't live in logic. It lives in instinct, and his instincts are shouting through his gaze. Sometimes he'll look at you like he's searching for an answer, like he's wondering if you feel it too. And sometimes, when you meet his gaze, There will be silence. Not awkward, but charged. As if the world pauses for just a second and neither of you breathes. That's the moment when everything becomes clear, even if no one says a word. His eyes will tell you that he wants you, not just physically but emotionally, that he's imagined what it would feel like to be close to you, that you've occupied more of his mind than he planned, and he's trying to figure out what to do with that. What's even more telling is how his eyes follow you when he thinks you're not watching. In a crowded room, his gaze will drift toward you naturally, almost involuntarily. If you leave, he notices. If you enter, he lights up. And when he talks to others, there's a flicker in his expression when you're near. You may not catch him every time, but trust. His eyes are drawn to you like gravity. That's not because he wants to look. It's because he can't not look. Your presence commands his attention on a soul-deep level. This is why you must trust what you feel when you catch that look. It's not in your head. It's not wishful thinking. A man who is truly, deeply, magnetically attracted to you cannot disguise it in his eye. No matter how hard he tries, the truth will flicker through his glance like a secret begging to be discovered. Because sometimes the loudest confessions are whispered through eye contact. And when his eyes speak that kind of desire, you'll feel it. Not in your mind, but in your body. It's instinctual, raw, and unforgettable. His gaze becomes a language, and if you listen closely, it will tell you everything. When a man is drawn to you on a deep sexual and emotional level, he won't always say it outright. In fact, he might try to keep it hidden, masked under politeness or casual friendliness. But one of the most revealing signs is how he positions himself around you, the way he navigates space when you're near. Attraction, real, magnetic, consuming attraction, has a gravitational pull. He'll be pulled toward you, not because he has to be, but because his body wants to be near yours. You'll notice it in the small things. He'll find subtle excuses to be closer. Maybe he chooses the seat next to you when there were plenty of others. Maybe he lingers a few seconds longer after a conversation. Maybe he leans in while you talk, even though he can hear you just fine from where he is. It's not the words he wants to hear. It's your energy he wants to feel. When a man is captivated by you, he doesn't just look at you, he orbits you. He wants to feel your presence up close, your scent, your warmth, your energy field. It's an unconscious craving. He might touch your arm lightly during conversation, guide you through a crowd with a gentle hand on your back, or find a way to stand shoulder to shoulder when everyone else is spread out. These are not accidental. These are physical expressions of mental obsession. When his body starts seeking your proximity, even when it doesn't make logical sense, it's a clear sign you've stirred something deep inside him. You'll also notice he becomes hyper-aware of your reactions. He watches you as you react to others, as you laugh, as you speak, and especially when you respond to him. That attention, that subtle leaning forward when you share something personal, that's not politeness. That's hunger for connection. He wants more. He doesn't just want to see you, he wants to feel you. And feeling your presence becomes like a quiet addiction. When you're around, he feels more alive. When you're not, there's a void he doesn't know how to fill. And sometimes, when he's truly overwhelmed by that desire, he pulls back, not because he wants distance, but because being near you floods him with emotions he doesn't know how to manage. It's not detachment, it's pressure. Your energy affects him so deeply that proximity becomes both a craving and a test of control. And when a man starts living in this tension, wanting to be close while also trying to compose himself, you've already touched a place within him that most people never reach. That's not flirtation. That's chemistry. That's the silent collision of two energies that were never meant to stay apart. Now, this presence you hold doesn't only make him want to be near you, it makes him anxious when you're not. When he's truly thinking about you, craving you, and feeling that burning attraction, your absence doesn't go unnoticed. He feels it. It's like a disruption in his rhythm. He might not tell you, but it shows. The energy shifts. He may check your social media just to see where you are, what you're doing. He may randomly text you something meaningless just to feel connected. He might even show up to places where he thinks you'll be, pretending it's just a coincidence. But it's not. It's strategy driven by desire. He wants to feel your energy again, even if it's just for a moment. When you withdraw, go silent, or stop giving him the attention he's gotten used to, something inside him activates. He starts to panic in small ways, starts reaching out. And it's not because he's lonely. It's because his mind has built a pattern around you. He's used to your voice, your laughter, your presence. And when that's gone, he doesn't feel like himself. That's what happens when attraction becomes emotional and mental. It consumes his thoughts. You become the comparison point for every other woman. You become the presence he didn't know he needed until you were no longer around. The craving doesn't fade when you're not there. It intensifies. He replays moments in his head, things you said, the way you looked at him, the way you made him feel without even touching him. And he starts creating new stories in his imagination, moments he wishes would happen. These daydreams aren't just fantasy. They're his mind's way of trying to satisfy a desire that reality hasn't caught up to yet. You live in his thoughts, and those thoughts aren't shallow. They're layered with physical longing, emotional tension, and mental obsession. And what's powerful is that you haven't done anything but be you. You haven't chased him. You haven't begged for attention. You've simply existed with authenticity. And in doing so, you've created a gap in his world that only your presence can fill. That's when you know the attraction is real. When your nearness feels like oxygen and your absence like suffocation. His energy doesn't lie. His body language doesn't lie. And when he starts seeking you, even when you're silent, it's because you've already taken root in the most sacred space, his mind. When a man is sexually and emotionally drawn to you, he often begins to exhibit a specific type of vulnerability that's difficult to fake and even harder to hide. This isn't weakness. It's a signal of depth. Attraction on a surface level can be polished, smooth, and even rehearsed. But when the connection penetrates deeper, when it moves past physical admiration and into the realm of emotional desire, something changes in him. You'll notice it in the little slips, the moments when he loses the control he usually carries so well. Maybe his voice trembles ever so slightly when he talks to you, or he stumbles over his words when he's usually composed. Maybe he laughs nervously or looks down in silence when the moment becomes too intense. These are not just signs of nervousness. They're signs of impact. You've reached a part of him he didn't prepare for, and now his body is reacting in real time. Men are often taught to appear strong, unshaken, unbothered. But when you've ignited something deep inside him, his carefully crafted armor begins to slip. He may try to hold eye contact, but ends up glancing away because it's just too much. The emotions behind his gaze are too exposed. He may try to play it cool, but when you speak, he listens with a different intensity. There's a certain stillness that overtakes him, a quiet focus as if your words carry more weight than anyone else's. That's not casual. That's not random. That's a man caught between wanting to reveal how he feels and fearing what that honesty might cost him. Because once he admits that he's affected by you, he's no longer in control of the narrative. And that vulnerability, that quiet trembling beneath the surface, that's real attraction. It's not performed, it's felt. In the moments you least expect it, you'll notice he gives you a glimpse of his inner world. It might be subtle, sharing something personal, opening up about a dream or a failure, letting you see a softer, more human version of him. That's not just conversation, that's intimacy. That's him allowing you into a space where few are invited. And it often happens when he's not thinking too hard, when your presence disarms him and makes him feel safe enough to let the mask fall for just a second. That 1 second can reveal everything. In that second, he's not trying to impress you. He's simply trying to be seen, truly seen. But with this vulnerability comes a strange kind of fear. A fear that if he shows too much, he might lose his power. So, he tests the waters. He gives you a little, waits to see how you respond, then decides whether to go deeper. But make no mistake, the very act of opening up, even slightly, is not casual for a man who's emotionally drawn to you. It means you've touched a place that most can't reach. You've awakened something that feels both thrilling and terrifying. And when a man is in that space, when he wants you but also fears how much he wants you, that's when his vulnerability speaks louder than his bravado ever could. Now imagine he tries to walk away, tries to stay cool, tries to silence the thoughts of you that keep flooding his mind. At first he might succeed. He might go hours, maybe even a day or two without thinking about you constantly. But it won't last. because a man who has felt that depth of attraction and vulnerability begins to experience a kind of withdrawal when you're not around. Your absence doesn't just go unnoticed. It disrupts his peace. He may not tell anyone, but inside he's wrestling with a storm. That silence becomes heavy, and that heaviness pushes him to reconnect. You'll see it in how he reaches out, sometimes through small, almost meaningless gestures, a message, a comment, a random reaction to your story. He's not trying to be obvious. He's testing the waters, trying to feel your energy again, trying to bring himself back into your presence without fully confessing that your distance unsettled him. And when you respond, even in a small way, there's a shift in him. He feels whole again. Not because you completed him, but because your presence has now become his comfort, his grounding, his emotional anchor. You've become his safe place and his weakness at the same time. And when that happens, something powerful unfolds. He stops thinking about you as just another beautiful woman. He starts feeling like no one compares to you, not in looks, not in vibe, not in energy. You've entered a sacred part of his mind where very few are allowed. You live there now, not because you forced your way in, but because you moved him. And that movement, deep, emotional, soul-level movement, is what creates lasting connection. Not just chemistry, not just desire, but a deep, unforgettable imprint of you on him. One that he won't be able to explain and won't be able to erase. When a man is truly, deeply attracted to you, even the smallest touch becomes a powerful experience for him. And for you. It's not always about overt gestures or obvious advances. Sometimes it's in the subtle ways he interacts with you physically that reveal everything he's feeling but won't say. You'll start to notice these patterns, the brush of his hand against yours, the gentle way he moves something from your hair, the accidental touch that lasts just a second too long. These moments are not just casual contact. They're signals. Each one carries tension, meaning, and intention. A man who desires you but wants to remain respectful will find ways to be near you, to touch you lightly, just to test the emotional and physical charge between you. The power is not in the act itself, it's in the way it's done. There's a difference between a man who touches out of habit and a man who touches with thought, with presence, with anticipation. When he touches you, even in the smallest way, his whole energy shifts. You'll feel him pause. You'll see his expression change. It's as if time slows down for him. He's not just touching your hand, he's feeling something electric, something alive. And if you pay close attention, you'll sense it too. That heat, that stillness, that intensity that hangs in the air for a moment after the touch is gone. Sometimes he pulls back immediately, as if he wasn't supposed to do it. That's another sign. That retreat is not rejection, it's self-control. It's him fighting a wave of attraction that almost took over. That hesitation tells you everything. It tells you that he felt something so strong it shook him, and he's trying to gather himself before it shows. But it does show. Because desire has a way of escaping even the strongest walls. And in those moments of physical closeness, even the briefest ones, the emotional truth comes rushing in. You'll also find that when a man is deeply drawn to you, he listens differently. His attention becomes almost surgical. When you speak, his eyes are fixed on you, not just out of politeness, but because your words have become important to him. He remembers the smallest details, picks up on things others don't notice, and circles back to something you said days ago. That kind of listening is rare. It's intentional. It's personal. He's not just listening with his ears. He's listening with his entire being. Your voice becomes something he craves, something that grounds him. He wants to hear the way you explain things, the way you laugh mid-sentence, the softness in your tone when you're being vulnerable. All of it becomes music to him. He doesn't just hear the content of your words, he hears the emotion behind them. When you're happy, he lights up. When you're bothered, he grows quiet. When you share something deep, he leans in, not just physically, but emotionally. His listening becomes a reflection of how much he cares, how much he values your inner world. And this is no accident. When a man is truly into you, Your mind becomes just as beautiful to him as your body. He wants to know what makes you tick, what makes you smile, what you fear, what you dream about. And through listening, he connects with you beyond the surface. As this connection deepens, you'll start to notice something else. He stops trying to replace the feeling you give him. He might try. He might entertain conversations with others, go out, keep himself busy. But nothing feels the same. No other presence brings him the calm, the thrill, the fire, and the peace. All at once, you've become the measuring stick for how other women make him feel, and no one measures up. That's not because you're perfect. It's because what he felt with you wasn't shallow. It was soul level. And soul level connections don't fade. They haunt. And it's not just about the moments you're together. It's about the moments when you're not. He remembers how you looked when you said that one thing, how your eyes softened when you talked about something you love. He replays it. He reimagines it. He creates stories in his head where you're together, laughing, close, free, not because he's desperate, but because you've become his emotional safe haven, his most beautiful distraction. Even when life pulls him in 100 directions, thoughts of you remain. You're the calm in his chaos, the fire in his stillness, the feeling he tries to recreate but never quite can. This is what true attraction looks like. It's not about drama. It's not about constant chasing. It's about those quiet, undeniable signs that speak louder than words. The intentional touch, the undivided listening, the inability to forget, and the craving to return again and again to a presence that felt like home. When a man is consumed by his attraction to you, something shifts in how he speaks about you even when you're not around. You become part of his language, his thoughts, his conversations, especially with those closest to him. He may not openly declare his feelings, but the people around him begin to notice the change. His energy speaks before his words do. His friends, his co-workers, even his family begin to see the way his demeanor softens at the mention of your name. How his mood changes when you text or call. How his eyes light up when you're brought into the conversation. You've become a topic he can't avoid, because you've become a feeling he can't escape. When a man is truly into you, it leaks out of him. He might mention you casually, maybe in the context of something you said or did, but underneath that casual tone is a silent reverence. He talks about you the way someone speaks of a beautiful song stuck in their head. They don't know how to stop humming it. His boys may tease him, his friends may joke, but they also understand something real is going on. They see the way he talks about your laugh. They notice the way he defends your name. They feel the difference in him. Even if he hasn't told them everything, they already know. A woman has his attention. A woman has shifted something in his spirit. And that woman is you. You'll start to feel this too, even if he never admits it directly. When you're around his circle, they act differently, more curious, more respectful, even a bit protective. Because if he's talked about you enough, you're no longer just a girl he likes. You've become someone they understand has influence over him. That unspoken bond, that invisible place you hold in his life, it speaks louder than anything he's said out loud. They've seen the way he becomes distracted by his phone when you message. They've heard the stories. They've watched the way he smiles at your name. And even if he pretends it's nothing, they know it's something. Attraction like this doesn't stay private for long. It becomes part of how a man operates. You'll see it when he tries to act indifferent around you, but his friends give him away with knowing glances. You'll notice it when he tries to act normal, but his people keep looking at you like they already know who you are. And in many ways they do. They know the version of you that lives in his mind, the version he's talked about, laughed about, wondered about. Because when you affect a man at this level, his inner world adjusts, and the people closest to him start to orbit that adjustment too. It's also in how he reacts when your name comes up unexpectedly. If someone else brings you up, his attention sharpens. If someone compliments you, his smile might linger. If someone jokes about you, he might get serious. These are not rehearsed responses. These are emotional reflexes. They happen because he feels something, whether he's ready to admit it or not. He protects your image in his mind, because attraction has turned into something more sacred, something he doesn't want to lose or see disrespected. It's not about possession. It's about reverence. When a man is truly captivated by a woman, he holds her name like it's precious. And when others speak of her, he listens like he's hearing something holy. The most telling moments are often the ones you're not even part of. The times when he brings you up just to talk about something you said, something you like, or something you did. The way he compares situations to yours. The way he says, "She always says this," or "That reminds me of her," without even realizing it. That's not storytelling, that's imprinting. You've become part of the fabric of his thoughts, and now his mind weaves you into everything. And the more he does it, the more obvious it becomes, to him and to everyone around him, that you're not just a fleeting thought, you're a recurring presence. And that's the power you hold. Not just to make him think about you, but to make him unable to stop sharing pieces of you with the world around him. Without trying, without chasing, without even knowing it, you've moved from his desire to his identity. He doesn't just want you, he feels marked by you. And when a man feels that way, the world around him always notices. Always. When a man is sexually and emotionally consumed by you, it goes far beyond physical attraction. It becomes a full mental and emotional occupation. You stop being just someone he finds beautiful or interesting. You become the woman he compares every other experience to. Something about you lingers. Something about you repeats in his mind, like a song he didn't choose but can't turn off. It's not just about how you look or how you speak. It's about how you made him feel. That feeling stays with him. It follows him into his silence, his sleep, his solitude. He doesn't plan to think about you. It just happens. While he's working, while he's talking to others, even when he's pretending to be focused on something else, your face flashes in his mind. Your laugh echoes in his memory. And that's when he realizes you've gotten inside him in a way he can't shake. He may have known women before. He may have experienced attention, even admiration. But something about you hits different. It touches a part of him that no one else reached. You've activated something more than desire. You've awakened his emotional memory. The way you looked at him during that one conversation. The way you touched your hair when you laughed. The tone of your voice when you were serious. These small details become huge in his head. He remembers them vividly, not because he tries to, but because his brain stores them. You've become a permanent bookmark in the story of his thoughts. Even if he tries to distract himself, it doesn't work. He may go out with friends, talk to other women, stay busy with work, but something always feels off. Something feels incomplete. That's you. You've shifted his emotional baseline, and now everything else feels dull. He used to be okay before, but now he's spoiled by your energy. He's experienced the warmth of your presence, the spark of your words, the softness of your gaze, and he can't unfeel it. Other people may be attractive, they may be nice, but they don't move him like you do. They don't ignite that same fire. They don't calm his spirit and excite his soul at the same time. You've become the fantasy that feels more real than reality. He imagines being with you in situations that haven't even happened yet. What it would feel like to have you sitting next to him on a quiet morning. What it would be like to kiss you slowly without rushing. What it would be like to wake up to your presence, to your voice, to your touch. These aren't just fantasies, they're emotional rehearsals. His heart is playing out scenes with you because something inside him hopes they might come true. You've become not just his desire, but his dream. He doesn't talk about this, of course. Most men won't, but it shows. In the way he watches you, in the way he falls silent when you're near, in the way he stumbles over his words or overcompensates with confidence. He's battling the storm inside. He's trying to remain in control of his feelings, but the truth is, he's already lost control. You've taken up too much space in his mind. You live in the pause between his sentences. You echo in the silence when he lays awake at night. You are not just a person anymore. You're a feeling he craves, and a memory he returns to over and over again. And this doesn't fade easily, even if time passes, even if distance grows, even if he walks away. That imprint you left doesn't just disappear. It stays. It whispers to him in moments of reflection. It pulls at his heart when he's alone, because when a woman touches a man on that level, beyond the surface, beyond the physical, beyond the moment, She becomes unforgettable. She becomes the what if that lingers, the could have been that haunts, the maybe that keeps him up at night. And it's not because you chased him or begged for attention, it's because you were the attention. Your presence spoke louder than any words. Your energy did what no performance ever could. You were the experience. And when a man feels that, truly feels it, he will never see love the same way again. You've raised the standard, changed the game, rewired his expectations. And even if he moves on, part of him will always search for traces of you in every other woman he meets. Because that's what unforgettable feels like. That's what obsession without permission looks like. Pannaiti, you didn't demand it, you simply became it. His mind is no longer his own. It belongs to the memory of you. And the feeling that no one else could quite make him feel.